Okay guys, welcome back to another fanfiction idea, and this is basically where I talk about fanfiction ideas that I had, today I'm going to be talking about a story idea that I had for a while, and it's a little AU-ish, but go with me on it. And that is a crossover between Kong and Jurassic World. And you may be thinking, how the hell does Jurassic World and Kong work? You know, how exactly does this kind of storytelling work? Well, glad you asked that, because this is a little bit of an AU, in that Kong in this story is the clone of the Kong from the original 1933 film. Yes, the original Kong did happen, and in this version of Jurassic World, Kong is cloned and actually a tourist attraction at Jurassic World. Kong is not only the... Actually, I'll get to that in a moment. You're probably wondering how they had this and why didn't they get this sooner? Why wasn't there a Kong on Jurassic Park then? If it's, if they could get InGen could get the DNA. Well, the reason being is because while the original Kong did die and the body was taken by the military and actually kept on ice for study, it was really hard to find Kong's body and to find a good DNA sample of it. It was really hard for InGen after it. In fact, in this story, I wanted to have a moment where Masrani is actually talking about Kong was Kong was one of the reasons Jurassic World was such a hit, was because he was so different. It was such a pain in the ass to get. John Hammond in this continuity actually tried to get Kong's DNA in this continuity. But, however, there was too much red tape that the military had the body, and they were actually still working out the kinks in the cloning. Then the team was actually afraid that they couldn't get a viable DNA sample of Kong and actually be cloned. Now, the other thing about eventually in the skip ahead to when Jurassic World works, Kong is cloned and actually put on the island. Kong in this continuity is not only the only mammal in Jurassic World, but he is also the only male. Reason being is because Masrani was like, nobody wants to see Queen Kong. And if you got that reference of why I put that moment in there, you'll understand why that's funny. Especially if you watch Brandon Tenold's reviews. You'll see what I mean if you ever watch his review on certain Kong ripoff movies. Anyway, no one comes to... Kong is not only the only mammal, but he is the only male on the island. Masrani actually got the DNA by working out a deal between InGen and the scientist group that actually had him within the military for studying. And you might be wondering, well, if that's the case, where's Skull Island? Glad you asked, because I actually did reference Son of Kong, which in that continuity, Son of Kong, Skull Island actually sank to the bottom of the sea and was destroyed, effectively. So yeah, there's a reason why they couldn't go back to why didn't people go back to Skull Island in that storyline. So yeah. Now, in this story... in this universe, like I said, Kong is the only mammal and actually has an enclosure to himself. And Kong has been on the island for a good 5-6 years. And Kong also has someone taking care of him, a primatologist by the name of Amanda Driscoll. Yes, that's right. She is the great-granddaughter of Jack Driscoll and Ann Darrow, who's Ann Driscoll by the time of the marriage. But yeah, so she is the granddaughter of Ann and Jack. And the great-granddaughter of Ann and Jack, and Kong kind of senses that. Kong kind of and it's no secret that, one of the reasons Masrani hired her was because your name's Driscoll, and, your family has ties to the original Kong, and it's fortunate that you became a primatologist. And it's actually because of Ann and Jack's encounter with Kong is that why Amanda wanted to be a primatologist, because she was so enamored by the stories of Kong. Now, Kong, like I said, has his own enclosure, mostly because Kong can't interact well with the other animals, and the other animals don't interact well with him, because they know he's not like them. And Kong is very territorial, especially when it comes to the T-Rex. Rexy, of course, the female T-Rex from the original film, and Kong have to be kept on separate sides of the island because when Kong was introduced to the island, when the Kong clone was introduced to the island, he actually was put in a paddock closer to the T-Rex and actually attempted to escape to go fight it because he was so hardwired that he was like, yeah, T-Rex equals bad, me go break jaw. So, there you go. So, yeah, Kong is a major attraction along with the T-Rex, but now we're getting close to the Indominus. So when the Indominus is cloned and shit's going on, so yeah, this does take in the same continuity of the events of Jurassic World, but without Kong in it. Kong already knows something's up. When he actually gets a whip, I had it that, like, he can smell Kong, the Indominus in the air, and it's freaking him out. It's making him so angry, because he's sensing something that shouldn't be here, something that shouldn't even exist. The T-Rex is one thing, but the Indominus is something that has really upset him. Like, it's really like something like, this thing shouldn't exist and shouldn't be allowed to live. So Kong is getting angry at the thought of this unholy abomination. So throughout the storyline, I basically had it that Kong does escape during the events of when the Indominus breaks out. So now they're panicking, and like now Kong and the Indominus are free. So how do we capture both? And I actually had, like, they send two capture teams, one to go capture the Indominus and another one to go capture Kong, with Amanda in charge. With Amanda in charge of that team since she's very close to it. Also, yes, the military does want to use Kong, mostly because he is so, he was an animal that, terrorized a city in 1933, and it's he would be an amazing military aspect if we could actually harness that ape's intelligence. But of course, he's not. The reason why Kong is not really more affected to it like the Raptors are is because Kong was never, considered to be a military project. Hoskins just wants to have Kong as a weapon because, well, why wouldn't you? Because it's like, well, I'm making the raptor, it might as well make a big monkey, do tricks for me as well. So that was kind of the mindset. So Kong is out, and he actually takes on the capture team, but he doesn't, unlike the Indominus, he doesn't kill anyone. Kong doesn't kill anyone. He does injure people, and does rip apart, the trucks and armored vehicles that are sent to capture him, but Kong's on a quest. Kong is hunting the Indominus. So one of the ideas, because they realize, okay, the Indominus is going this way, and look at Kong's pathway. He is going to take on the Indominus. And Masrani's not having it. Masrani is like, if Kong and the Indominus fight and they both die, not only looking at serious property damage if Kong comes, if those two get close to the main pavilion, we're also looking at two creatures that we have sunk over $1 million in. We could look at millions of loss, because we can't, there's no chance, because the bot, it was pure luck that we managed to clone Kong the first time, because the DNA samples were so diluted. It was so difficult to get it first time, there's no chance we could clone another King Kong. So, there's that. So yeah, the events of Jurassic World and Kong happen. Actually, I had an idea where Kong actually intervenes when he's chasing the kids, when the Indominus is chasing the kids, and he actually saves them in a battle with the Indominus, who's like, "What the fuck is this?" and runs off. Kong scares him, but in the next time when they fight, when Kong actually interrupts the fight where the military and the Raptors actually corner the Indominus, so leading to Kong actually fighting the I-Rex and the Raptors at the same time, leading him to kill one of the Raptors as well. So yeah, it's when the Raptors are turning to face all the soldiers, Kong just comes barreling in to go after it. Now we come to the end of the story where the Indominus is facing the T-Rex and Blue, but when Blue shows up, it's not till later, because at the moment, Kong was actually beaten. The Hoskins men actually shot and wounded Kong, and the Indominus and the Raptors did a number on him, so everyone thought, oh god, Kong's dead. So Amanda, who in this story, she's also part of the end of this, she's also part of Grady's story, and she's not like a Mary Sue character. She's more like, I'm just here to protect Kong. Since I can't have, I had to write in some character to have ties with the crew to, have, again, more ties to the original Kong film. So Kong, in the end, when the T-Rex is free and fighting the Indominus, Kong actually jumps in to fight the Indominus alongside Blue and Rexy. And there's a moment after the Mosasaur kills the I-Rex, Kong turns to face Rexy and Blue, and he's like, nah, not today. But they both leave because they're just too exhausted of fighting. So there was how the story ended with actually people online in the end of the story. Like, people online are calling Skull Island, or Jurassic Skull Island, or something of that nature, or New Skull Island. And it's actually, like, a lot of people are calling it the New Skull Island instead of Jurassic World or Isla Nublar. But anyway, so following that, in the next story, I actually had in mind that it actually follows Fallen Kingdom, where InGen actually wants Kong to gene splice with the Indominus to make make an Indo-ape, make Indo-apes alongside the Indoraptor. So they want to capture Kong as well, but that doesn't go exactly well because Kong is a lot smarter. So Kong actually is the one that, Owen Grady and everyone breaks out during the events of Jurassic World instead of the Stegi-Moloch, and it leads the Indoraptor escaping. Here, they release Kong, and in this story, Amanda's part of the story again, mostly because she's the only one, much like with Owen, who could get close to Blue, she's the only one who could get close to Kong. So yeah, they break out Kong, he escapes, and this time around, he and the T-Rex have a fight. It's actually like Kong, when he's breaking out, he sees the Rex break out as well, and he's like, you! Because in the island, I had it in mind that Kong may be king of Isla Nublar, aka New Skull Island, but Rexy is the queen, and the two have fought before, but there was never a clear winner. Here, it's kind of like Kong is about to kill Rexy in a fight, in a typical jawbreak, but InGen interrupts them and the two escape. And the two escape, and Kong actually heads towards Los Angeles, and that's where I had in mind where the second story ends. So there you go, guys. Just a fun, it's a cool what-if situation of, what if Kong was in Jurassic World? And I really had to think about, why didn't, Hammond manage to clone Kong, or this and that, and what would it be like if Hammond, because here's the thing, is you would think, Hammond or Masrani, give or take, would try to clone a mammal. At some capacity, they would try to clone some kind of mammal, like a woolly mammoth, because that's actually a lot easier than cloning dinosaurs. There's viable DNA. The only reason I said Kong's DNA wasn't viable was because it was kind of left to rot in the street for a little bit after being shot off the Empire State Building and brought to the ground, and no one knew how to keep the body of the specimen viable for a while. That's that was my explanation of why it was so difficult to clone Kong for so long. But anyway, you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you guys think of this little AU between Jurassic World featuring King Kong? Do you guys like it? Do you guys hate it? What did you guys think of the original character I put in there? And how would you go about doing this? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.